Hello there, welcome to the NeuroVerse. My name's Luke, and this is my story.
Hello there, it's me, Matthew. Welcome back to NeuroVerse. I'm here with Luke.
Hello.
And if you haven't watched episode 1 of Luke's story, then please, the tile somewhere, I don't know how to do this, description below. Look at the description below. Look at Luke's episode 1. And you'll find that Luke summarizes experiences with 3 words. And today we're going to explore one of those words in a little bit more detail. And that word was
Empathy.
empathy. Okay, so when it comes to empathy, what do you mean when it comes to empathy?
Just having the empathy to know how to kind of work with neurodiversities and people that have those challenges, and having the empathy for them to treat them as a normal, typical, whatever the definition of a normal, typical human being is, but to be just empathetic and to be on their side, and just treating people like they deserve to be treated, I think is the main kind of take from that. Not passing judgment or not kind of treating them any less just because they're neurodiverse. There's no reason for it. So I think it's very, very important from my perspective to always try and keep that empathy.
So kind of like treating people as people, not as labels.
Yes, yeah,
stuff.
just
Yeah.
they're as I say, it's just they're people.
Okay. So making sure we're being really careful and really fair now as well. So with my little boy is upstairs, so I'm doing this at home. I don't have a studio. Have you ever experienced, because as we mentioned in episode 1, if you haven't seen it, go look. If you haven't seen in episode 1, you've got experience with dealing with people with neurodiverse conditions, both in your personal, professional life. Now, me and you've worked together in organizations before. Have you had any experiences where you've seen people be treated as part of a process, as a part of rather than as a person, so part of a process or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen those examples, and it is a case that there are times where those that need the support and the help, and they're just chucked through the treadmill, I suppose, of what a process is, rather than taking into the consideration and going back to having that empathetic nature of what their requirements are and what they need it for. And I have seen it where it's had a negative effect because that empathy has not been taken on board.
Yeah.
And they've suffered because of it. Ultimately, they're the ones that have had to be in situations where either their quality of life suffers for it, or the capacity of what they need, the requirements for, has a negative effect on them. And I think it's frustrating. I think that's a big thing, that you can see the requirements that are needed and not having that empathy to support them, or not really seeing what's needed to help them get to what they need. It's definitely come up in the past from my experiences, and it's frustrating to watch. It's really frustrating to watch, because ultimately there's situations that I can think of where I've been helpless to do it, and as much as I want, as much as I've got, I can see that empathetic. I can see what empathy I need to support them and to give them that kind of push forward. I'm hopeless to do anything beyond what my capacity is. But yeah, I've seen. It is frustrating and it's upsetting as well. It's double natured that because of certain circumstances, people have been put in situations where they're clearly not comfortable and they're not getting what they need to help them, because they are just chucked into a process, or they're put into a situation where they just don't have the environment that they need around them.
Do you think that it's so it's like the system that they're then put into is So I personally don't think that it's the system that people are put into afterwards, whether it's in work or anything else. I don't think the system is designed to help people with neurodiverse conditions. And but did you think it's a case of the system is broken, and there's people who want to do more that are following a shit process,
Yeah.
or is it a case of, or do you think sometimes it's a case of someone that the system could and is available to help people, but there's people that lack the understanding and potentially compassion to try and help those people?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, especially living in the UK, I think we're all more than aware that we've got an incredibly broken system to support people that need help, and that's not
Yeah.
out the fault of the people that work in anything. That's not. It's the nature of where we are as a in the world now, that there isn't enough to give people what they need in so many different areas to support neurodiversities, to support those different types of neurodiversities, to support mental health, to support all kinds of ways that people need that help. And there's more than enough people in those areas that have that empathy. We all know brilliant people that work in various health capacities, but ultimately they are in a broken system. But the people that need to make decisions to fix said systems, do they have any empathy to make those changes? I'm not really sure. It's very, very complex, but I do think there's a little bit of both in that area. That there is more that people could do, but equally, there's only so much people can also do in the current capacity of what support networks there are out there.
Yeah, and that's part of kind of why we started NeuroVerse, is to kind of have an online community and support system where people don't feel alone. They can come and ask questions, ask for help, and I would hope as the NeuroVerse grows, there'll be more professionals in different careers and different areas and different sectors that might be able to kind of help signpost and help people. So seeing what you've experienced, and you've experienced good and bad. You know, there are some good people out there.
Absolutely.
Trying, working hard. There are some people out there that want to do more but can't because of the system. And I think there are some people out there that use the system as a shield for not doing more as well. I think that's a fair kind of assumption, a broad stroke as kind of the UK as a whole. Really, there's people that want to do a good job. There's people that want to do more and do more. There are people who want to do more that can't, and then there's people that want to do the bare minimum and hide behind the fact that I can't. When you've experienced these kind of almost, you feel like they're personal injustices to some degree, because it's someone you care about ultimately, or it's yourself. However, what have you taken away from those experiences has helped shape how you then treat other people?
I think there's two aspects to that. I think there's a frustration that you're seeing it happen, and you feel helpless to it, and you can't fully understand what that person's going through, but you know that they're struggling because of it and they're suffering because of it, and that's upsetting. But from my perspective, at least on my life so far, being around these experiences, it gives a massive signpost to say what not to do, and how not to put the person in that situation, and how not to treat that, and look at the bigger picture for, well, if this one person is affected by this, how the hell is everyone else in the same situation feeling? And it's very different examples that can apply to in what I've experienced. But from my point of view, and that's where I come back to empathy, how as a person that can do, what can I do as a person to make sure that they have at least one person. I might not be able to make a massive difference, but at least one person could be empathetic. That's one more person that they didn't have to support them.
It's a really nice way of looking at that, Luke.
And even if it doesn't make the massive difference in the world, it's made a difference. So that's how I try and view it, and that's how, when these situations have come up, where I've tried to learn from them, I guess, from my own perspective.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Right.
I think we're going to be looking at another one of your key phrases, words, in another episode. So again, just want to say thank you very much for doing this. Again, we need to start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And yeah, I really appreciate your time.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Although, as we're good friends, there wasn't really much of a choice. But yeah, I appreciate it. Anyway, nonetheless, you still give up your time for this, so thank you. So if you resonate with any of this at all, or you've got your own experiences, put them in the comments below. I know they're below, because I do know, regardless of how you're watching, laptop, TV, phone, whichever, it's always going to be below. Drop them down below. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. It's really, really appreciated. And if one of the stories you hear on the NeuroVerse helps someone, it's worth it. Just to make them not feel alone. So again, thank you very much, Luke. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.